On this week's Upgrade, things are heating up as we tear towards September the 10th. Home confinement continues, and a look inside how to run your life and business virtually anytime. It's all on the Upgrade from MAGFAST. Hello and welcome to the Upgrade. By the way, thank you so much for all the nice emails. I think we even had an actual physical letter the other day saying how much you're enjoying this, mainly because of Kate. Hello, Kate.
Hi.
We're trying to figure out a way of doing this that I can gently segue out of it. It can just be Kate, but for now, you are stuck with me. Kate, we're going to do a session, a little slightly unusual one this week, about how we're working in this virtual kind of COVID environment. But before we start, you've got a couple of items there?
Yes. Don't forget, September the 10th. Put it in your calendar, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1
All right, now I have
Pacific.
to stop. So I have to stop you right there. So, Kate, okay?
Yes.
It's remember. It's not don't forget.
Okay.
So here's a little experiment. This is, by the way, the reason I'm doing this is I think this is really useful for languaging for everybody. So the mind isn't very good at hearing not words, because if I say do not think of a pink elephant right now, almost everybody watching this just thought of a pink elephant. Okay, so when you say do not forget, you're sending the wrong instructions. So we want to say remember September the 10th.
Okay, all right. So remember September the 10th, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific.
Indeed, and of course 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. in Mountain and Central. We're very, very excited about this, as you probably already know. I'm actually kind of in lockdown doing preparation for it at the moment. So some special stuff coming down the pike there. Also, Kate, are we doing we're doing the $1,000 prize this month. Are we doing the secret keyword today?
Yes, we have a secret keyword that we will reveal at the end. And just a reminder that we do the $1,000 prize draw every single month.
We do it every single month, and you get multiple chances to win. Link right underneath us here that you can get in there when we're done. Go down there, because you're not going to know the keyword, you see, until we do it later on, you see. All right, I thought this week we get a lot of folks asking us, and thank you for your concern about how MAGFAST is doing through the whole of COVID. We've spoken about that quite a bit before, but I thought what we would focus on today is how we were already set up in a number of ways to make the transition to the new kind of virtual world fairly easily. Kate, for instance, has always worked with us virtually from Austin, right?
Yes,
okay,
that's
using a bunch of tools that you've heard of before, maybe one or two that you haven't. And I thought we'd go through those in a second. But before doing that, I thought I'd just do a little quick, because I'm old enough to remember the days sort of before the internet kind of got useful, and there was all this talk about something called telecommuting, and the world was going to be all different in the future when we had flying cars and telecommuting. And it was quite a long time ago, but I would say in probably kind of the late 80s, early 90s, there was this feeling that it was going to be possible for people to work highly effectively from home. But it was really very difficult ever to get it done, because the tools simply weren't good enough. So we had this word telecommuting, and hardly anybody was able to do it. And I remember when JetBlue first went into business, it was this amazing innovation that they were able to have a lot of their customer service people working from home, because even though we didn't have the whole of the internet sorted out, they'd managed to somehow put together a system that allowed that. Maybe they're using early internet technology. So you really kind of needed to be in the office, so you could use the fax machine and the photocopier and all of the other kind of tools of the time. But it started to change, I'd say, around kind of 2000. I was working back then with Rex, who's been a friend of mine for 30 years and who works with us kind of consulting in MAGFAST. And we were involved in the early days of the internet, putting together what's now called a SaaS system, an SaaS, so a SaaS system, that's software as a service. So instead of buying software, installing it on a computer, you sort of rent it out over the internet. And we were some of the first people trying to do that out in Silicon Valley. Everybody thought we were completely crazy. Nobody will ever do that. They'll never trust you with their data. I even remember having this idea that we should rent space at Fort Knox to have a server there and store the data. What do you think, Kate? And then people would feel safe because their data was in Fort Knox.
Yeah, sounds safe to me.
Sounds crazy, right? So things have sort of shifted now because we've got these amazing tools. We'll talk about a couple of them in a second. And people are also, I think, trying, not always successfully, to get a better life-work balance. All right, and if you're not commuting all of the time, for in many cases an hour each way, that's 2 hours that you should be able to get back for your home and your family life. Anyway, so what was MAGFAST set up? Well, MAGFAST was always set up as a virtual company for a couple of reasons. It's faster to get moving, lower costs for a startup, and also you can work with the best people you can find anywhere in the world. There doesn't have to be this whole thing about recruiting people and then what are the arrangements for them, moving from one city to another, with all of the expense for them and for the company in making that happen. So we're based in beautiful upstate New York near the Hudson River. It's fantastic, but Kate's there in Austin, Texas. Mm-hmm. Yep. Her dad is in a different bit of Austin, Texas, yep. who works with us. Consulted to begin with, now works with us full time. We have folks in California and Oregon, 2-3 people in Europe, a long trusted colleague in India who does crazy things with our service for us. And in addition to the manufacturing teams overseas, we have one of our longest standing team members who is actually Indian by birth, educated in the United States and living in China, and just had a baby the other day. So congratulations, guys. So we had to figure out how to do this kind of distributed thing productively quite a long time ago. So I thought I'd go through one or two of the tools that we use. And by the way, this is only some of the tools we use. I just thought it'd be fun to show you one or two of them and kind of explain to you how it is that we get things to work. So have a little look behind the business. The very first one I want to just recommend with all my heart, and if you don't use them, use one of their competitors, is 1Password. What just happened recently, some of the top people in the world, their Twitter accounts were hacked, and it's still not clear exactly how that happened. So we don't know for sure whether this would have solved them, but a good password manager coupled with two-factor authentication. Here's all I can tell you. It took me a long time to make the jump into using this stuff, but I do certainly dozens, maybe hundreds of password entries per day. It's probably fewer for you, but still plenty, right, Kate?
Yes, definitely a lot. It makes it so much easier.
This is the thing. You think, oh my God, I couldn't have a password manager. Life would be so complicated. No. It's much simpler. First of all, you don't have to remember any passwords. That's why this one's called 1Password, because you just have to remember one password. That's the one master password that you have for yourself and you never tell anybody.
I didn't even realize that's why it was called 1Password.
That's why it is, you see. And then you have, you set up 1Password, ideally with two-factor authentication for 1Password. Two-factor, by the way, is the thing where two forms of it, or several forms of it, but the main two are when they text a number to your phone and then you type it in, okay? And then the other one is where your phone generates a code for you. The one where it generates a code is much more secure, but unless you're some sort of high target person, like a politician or something, you're probably okay with the one where they text your phone. It is quicker, however, to have the generator, and 1Password and its competitors can generate the code for you. Anyway, I'm kind of talking about this a little bit too much, but I'm really passionate about it because I see so many people have still got like kittens123, which itself isn't a very secure password, and they're using it for everything. So they've got the same username, same password, and it's the way to have people come and steal your life. So if you do nothing else as a result of watching all of these upgrades, please, if you don't already have one, get a password manager. And my final piece of advice on this is to do the following. Get one, sit down, clear some space, and just aim to put your top 5 passwords into it, because you'll get 90% of the benefit, 80% of the benefit from just the top 5. So, like your main email, your work email, your bank, you know what I mean? Like just the ones that are the most important that would be devastating
Facebook.
if they were hacked. Your Facebook, whatever the ones are that we like, just aim to do 5 of them. And the truth is, by the time you've done 5, you'll have learned how really easy it is to do, and then you can add all of the other ones as you go along. And the password managers make it easy. They say, oh, I didn't know this password. Do you want me to save it for you? And they're also, because it's their entire business, they're super into security. I actually read one of the security papers from these guys from 1Password before, their white paper, and it was mind-blowing the stuff that they're doing. All right, so enough about that. Let's just whip on quickly through the others. The next one I wanted to mention is Zendesk. All right, so I just did password first because that covers absolutely everything, but the next most important one for us in many ways is Zendesk, where Kate spends a lot of her days. How is it in there, Kate?
I love Zendesk. I think it's fantastic, and yeah, that's basically where I live.
So for those who don't know, Zendesk is a way for companies, large and small, very big companies use it, tiny ones use it, we're somewhere in between, to handle customer questions. Simply put, it can do many, many other things as well, but the core of it is that when you send an email to us, it goes into a system that's able to see previous communications with the same person and make sure that we're as efficient as possible about answering people's questions. I'm proud to say that Kate and her team, together with Zendesk, mainly them, but Zendesk helps, they are about twice as quick as the industry average to respond. Industry average response time is a little bit over, so I think it's 12 and a half hours. We're down somewhere around 5 most of the time. That doesn't mean we'll always get in. That 5 is an average, so sometimes we're longer, sometimes we're faster. The number one thing that you can do to help us to keep the response times down is not to send in a ticket unless you have to. And I hate to say that because we love chatting with everybody, but we also want to get back to people as quickly as possible. So thank you. We've put a bunch of work, also using a Zendesk tool, into making the articles and stuff. Kate's been involved in that. We've got, how many articles do we have now, Kate? Like 20, 30, 40, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, probably around that.
Yeah, long form articles explaining about various aspects of the products and some procedural and policies and stuff and so on. So, and you can find all of that at ihelp.magfast.com. ihelp.magfast.com. All right, what else is on the thing here? Oh, G Suite. So whether or not you know G Suite, you probably know some of the apps, Gmail, Google Docs, that kind of thing. So G Suite brings them all together in a kind of sort of business bundle. You probably know the individual products. G Suite adds some security. You can impose is a bad word, but you can apply business security principles and that kind of thing to make sure you're keeping the team secure. So we now have everybody. Even if they're a consultant, we have them have a MAGFAST email address, and we make sure that all of our work with them is through their MAGFAST email address, which means when people move on, it's easy to kind of close the door in a secure way. And something that we've and you know this, Kate, right? You've heard me say this a lot of times before. What we try to get everybody to understand as we handle security and that kind of thing is it's not to do with whether an individual person is trusted. I would trust Kate with my life, and I mean that. I really do. She's kind of amazing. But from a company policy point of view, the rule is you have access to the things that you need to have access to and no more. And the way that I often, that I think it's really helpful to think about it is if a security auditor were to come in and examine what you're doing, would they say, yes, this is all very good? Or would they say, oh my God, you're an open door, anybody can walk in here. Why did that person, who worked with you for 1 week, 2 years ago, why have they still got access to all your stuff? So we try to take it, because the truth is we're working really hard to build a really solid foundation for a big company. Even though we're still small today, we think the potential of what we're doing is really, really, really huge. Thanks to you, and we want to make you proud. And part of that is putting these systems in place. But the part of G Suite that I certainly hadn't heard of before, I just put the logo up on the screen here, is Google Drive File Stream, which is super clever. It's a little plugin you put on your computer, and basically it allows you to see, how can I put this? It allows you to have an external drive, so a drive out in the cloud with all the files to which you have access, to which you have security access. You see them all on your computer, you interact with them, you can open them, you can close them, you can save them, you do everything exactly the same as if the file was on your computer. But it isn't. It's up in the cloud, and it's using the internet to quickly grab the file when it's needed and put it back up there. It's brilliant. And if you do need to be off the internet for a while, if you're traveling or whatever, you can specify, keep this file locally. So there are competing services. We've just found FileStream really, really fantastic as the team grows and we're working on more and more stuff. Rike, I hadn't heard of before, but there's a group of products. Rike is the one we chose. It has a strong competitor in Asana, which was created by some of the original Facebook founders. And it's really a company project and to-do system. They would kill me for describing it in such simple terms. But as we work, for instance, towards September the 10th, the big presentation then, there are thousands of tasks between here and there. I mean, it's this very large and complex. When you see it, it'll seem easy and elegant and straightforward because all of the work has gone in to making it like that. But there are thousands of tasks, and so all of this is being managed within Rike, and it means that you can track the progress of things, give deadlines, and so on and so on and so on. So check out Rike and its competitors. I mentioned Asana, and there are others as well. Zoom. Hardly anybody had heard of until 6 months ago. Now it is the word for teleconferencing, for video conferencing. I think there's a free level. We use a very basic paid level. When we originally launched, we treated ourselves to the $15 a month one, which has been absolutely essential. And in fact, when we coordinate the recording of the upgrade, the team meets over Zoom, even though we're running cameras in different locations, but we use Zoom to tie it all together. Don't we, Kate?
Yes, and we wouldn't be able to survive without Zoom, I don't think.
Or one of its competitors, yeah. But Zoom has been great. They've got, they're not perfect, but they've gotten a lot of things right. Very impressed how they've tightened up security recently. But yeah, what is that? It's now Google Meet, I think it's called. Used to be Hangouts Meet. Skype has an option. Microsoft has Microsoft Teams. So check them out. But really, it's extraordinary how much you can get done in a virtual way. I appreciate that some tasks, some businesses, many jobs are not possible in this way, but for many office-based things, it's simply extraordinary what you can get done. And I'm just going to talk very quickly about meetings. We have, as you can imagine, plenty of meetings between different groups, but there's a couple that are particularly important. One is we do a quarterly retreat. Now, we used to, because we're virtual, this was a chance to get everybody together. We did it coming together a couple of times with one or two people remote. We haven't been able to do it since COVID started, so we've just done we've sort of re-energized some of our weekly meetings in its place. But I can't wait to get back to this kind of quarterly where we step back and kind of review the entire state of what we're doing. As I say, because even though day to day we're caught up in all of the day-to-day details, what we're really excited about is building towards creating a great brand that you can be really proud of having been a part of its creation. But this is the fun one that we didn't do until a friend of ours consulted with us about a year ago and talked to us about how do we communicate. And we now do something called the Daily Huddle. And it's fun for all the family. 10 a.m. Eastern every morning. It's actually at 3 minutes past 10. Because do you know the reason for 3 minutes past 10, Kate?
So everyone remembers the time?
Yeah, because it's more memorable than just 10. Although, because it's every day, people would probably remember it anyway. Mm-hmm. But it's also because the research shows that when you have funny meeting times, people are on time more and they get started better on time. And we do start at 3 minutes past 10. Every morning, people are kind of coming in from a minute or two before, and then there's sort of chit-chat for a few minutes. And what's really important about it, especially in a virtual environment, is that everybody gets a chance to just kind of hang out and kind of like, oh, Seymour's got a new haircut. Everyone gets a chance to kind of to joke around, check in. We've had members of the team have had, over the entire time we've been doing this, losses in the family, relatives who are unwell, birthdays, wedding, births I mentioned to you the other day. So it's just a chance for everybody to get together and have a little bit of a connection.
And the huddle's supposed to last maybe about 15 minutes or so, but sometimes we are there for about half an hour.
It does tend to run a little bit long, but it's not. The thing is, it's supposed to be just 1 minute per person, super efficient. You know, what I'm doing, what I'm working on, where I'm stuck, because very often we can, like, quickly someone can provide a solution on the spot in 10 seconds, or at least arrange, like, let's meet for 3 minutes after this. But it is also a chance for everybody to kind of connect. Should we tighten it up a little bit? Yeah. Do we from time to time tighten it up a bit? Yes. Do we love each other a lot and enjoy having just a few minutes together at the kind of corporate Zoom-enabled water cooler? Yes. All right. So that, I think, was pretty much all we were going to cover for that. Let us know your favorite apps. As I say, that isn't everything that we use. We have email marketing software and all kinds of other bits and pieces. And we'll do a special session sometime in the next few weeks about what's called the funnel, which is the business of how we let the world know about MAGFAST. And how we communicate with people, and how many, and God bless you, become pre-order customers of MAGFAST and enable this entire project. And it's pretty interesting. I think it's pretty valuable to anybody who's kind of in business, or anybody who's building any kind of a following on social media, that kind of thing. I think there'll be some stuff in there for you. Okay. I think it is time to do the secret word, is it not, Kate?
Yes, it is.
Secret keyword.
Okay, it is future business. One word, future business.
Future business, because virtual business is future business. So it's future business. Future business. No gap. No gap. One word. Future business. And what do you do with the secret keyword?
You go to www.magfast.com/fun and
fun.
Yes, fun, because it is. And then you enter the drawing, and then there is a place where you can put the secret keyword, and it will give you 3 extra entries.
3 extra entries, and every week, if you join us for this every week, we'll give you a keyword every week. That means by the end of the month, you get, on a regular month, you get 4, so there'll be 12 additional chances to win $1,000 worth of cool electronics, including some of our amazing MAGFAST stuff. That just about wraps it up. Remember, September the 10th, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific, or see local listings for the time in your region. It's going to be great, and we will tell you soon. There's going to be 3 days in early September leading up to that. We're going to do some special sort of kind of preamble sessions where I'm going to take you, for those who are interested, I think you'll find it fascinating, a little bit of the kind of sort of deeper history of how we got there here, some of the mistakes that we've made. I'm going to go into in more detail the challenges we've had, because shipping's taken way longer than I expected, than the experts expected. I'm going to go into that in a great deal more detail, and I hope after hearing that you're going to agree with us that it was all worthwhile. That's it. Thank you so much, Kate.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
And we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for helping us change charging for good.